Hello everyone and welcome back to Crochet Delight. I'm doing another dyeing video. I've kind of got two going at once, and I am going to be dyeing the Knit Picks wool of the Andes roving in the color Bear. So it's Bear roving and it is 100% Peruvian wool top. There's a total of 100 grams here. So I am going to be dyeing that in two favorites, two past favorites, which are the Wilton's Black and the Wilton's Violet. I am actually going to be mixing 1/4 of each color in a pot with 4 tablespoons of vinegar, and I'm going to do something quite different with the roving. Usually what I do is I let it sit in the pot, but I actually want to dip dye this roving. So I've got some water set aside and I'm going to let the roving soak, and I'm going to let the water heat up, and once it comes to a simmer I'm going to lower that so that it's nice and low. It won't agitate the fibers, there'll be no felting or anything like that, and then we will get all the excess water out of the roving and dip dye. So I hope this turns out great. I hope you guys enjoy the color that you are getting a sneak peek of in the pot right here in the front. So without further ado, let's get started, shall we? Alright, so I let the roving soak, and Knit Picks does a little knot with one end, so I left that in so I would know where to hold, because I think this will be a pretty cool way to dye it. So this is how it's gonna be. That is my dog walking around, so you can ignore him. He's trying to get comfortable in his kennel. So I've turned a little extra water, get that out. I've turned the heat down low, and now I am actually going to start dip dyeing and hope this goes well. I have a spoon and my tongs here in case I need them, because at the end I think I am going to drop it in the pot. Whoops, dropped a little bit of it. Get that back. Alright, so let's see how well this goes. So I have both the Wilton's Violet and the Wilton's Black in this pot right now. And I'm doing a slow dip. I really want to see how this turns out. And I can see some of the blues making their way up. And I'm going to let that drain just a little bit. I'm going to be using my spoon here soon. Set just a little bit in there. So we've got mostly a bright pink. Gonna dip that a little more. I've already seen some of the reds crash out onto the side, so looks like we might start get into the we might be starting to get into the blues a little bit. Oh, there we go. That is pretty. after a while this does get a little heavy. So the spoon really helps, especially since this is such a small space. Yeah, we have a lot of blue left over in this pot. You might be able to see it come out. Got a bluish green, so I think that would be a good teal still in here. But we're getting up there. So now I think I'm just gonna plop it into the pot and let that set and get as much of those blues in there as possible. So I'm gonna let that sit for a good 10-15 minutes, and then I will come back and we will see what we've got. Okay, so this has been in for a good half hour, and there's still quite a bit of blue in here. I know that the blues take quite a while to absorb, so I'm gonna go maybe another 15 minutes, and I'm gonna see how that comes out, and if there's still a lot of color in there, oh well. I don't think I want to wait too much longer because I don't want to risk the wool felting. So if there is still color in there, I'll find an empty container and I will put some of that in a container and save it for a later in the future dyeing video, like I've done with some of the colors. So I'll say another 15 minutes, maybe 10 minutes, and we'll check back. Okay, so my light went out, and it has been 10 minutes. There's still quite a bit of blue in here, but I think I am going to take it out. I'm gonna turn off the heat. I'm gonna take it out, and I am going to let it cool. So, gotta get the water out of some roving. I have some roving that's going in another dyeing video. And where is it? There we go. Something to put that in. So let's carefully get this out of there. And that looks real pretty. Still a lot of blue runoff. Just gonna... There we go. So, obviously you can't see it because it's in the pot, but we've got quite a bit of purple and we've got some blue in here. I really like it. I love these two colors. When they break and it's beautiful. The violet always has more of a magenta in it when it breaks. The black has blues and greens in it as it breaks. So I'm gonna let this cool, and then I'm gonna wash it, and then I will let it dry, and I'll show you guys what it looks like when it is all dry. Okay, so you can see that I have two different colors right here. So I did a third dyeing experiment, and this is the Wilton's Black and Wilton's Violet mixed together, where I dip dyed. I have it exactly how I held it when I dip dyed it. So you can see the real magentas and purples are down here. Then there's more of a blue and some light, well, not really light, but some spotting of the dark purple and magenta. And then there are some nice real light spots. But all in all, I really like this. It came out better than I had hoped. And on this end, this is not what I had left over from the pot, but I did a completely different dyeing session for this one, so I want you guys to kind of guess what color I used for this one. And I'll give you a hint, it is not the color that this turned out to be. So go ahead and leave your comments down below. Tell me what you think of one or the other, or both. Tell me what color you think I used on the pink one. And have a delightful day, and happy hooking, everyone!